So this is my 1941 Cleveland Welding Company, or CWC, Supreme, in a very rare reverse color scheme pattern. So this is the original paint in here, and the from factory paint scheme would have been red and white, not white and red. And so this paint scheme, from the research I did, was only ever done through like a factory order. You had to order it. And sadly, I only found this bike with the frame and one of the fork struts intact. Everything you find here, I had to source replacement parts for over the course of a year or so. A couple years back, I rebuilt this bike like 3-4 years back at this point. But like, you know, everything, even this little eyebrow lens is original 40s stuff. And I painted the fenders and the rack. And I even tried to match it. Somebody rattle canned it, and I saved as much of the original paint, including some of the original decal work down here. It says Fleet Wing. And I found a Fleet Wing badge for it. So I even painted the rack. The rack has its tail light in it, which is an actual tail light. It's a very beautiful bike, very rare, rarer than unicorn shit, pardon the language. But there's probably only, the last time I did research, which, as I said, years ago, there's probably only 3 to 5 bikes like this one where it still had original paint on it. A lot of them were restored. These bikes came with locking forks, so the lock would sit right here and it would lock into these teeth on the back of the fork. And the lock itself on this bike is like $700 last time I checked on the forums. And the tank on this bike is like $2,000 unless you buy like a repop one. I'm out here in farmland on a sprinkler track, and figured it would be a good backdrop. It's got repop Pearson Supreme teardrop pedals from Memory Lane Cycles. It's got an original McCurry Art Deco universal chain guard. These are repop axle covers. It's got a repop Kilroy was here mud flap. This is an original raspberry reflector. This is an original reflector. This is a really cool kickstand, and it has this name on it. I just can't remember exactly what they were called, but they're very cool. It's got new departure drop center rims and new departure skip tooth wheels that I completely relaced and rebuilt the wheels. It's got this really cool long spring pre-war saddle that I found and rebuilt, but I kept some of the patina on there. I just kind of repainted the top pan. It's got a knuckle stem, a one-piece knuckle pre-war stem. These are Torrington. I believe it's called Torrington. Just big old, cruiser bars. Those original pre-war. It's got repop Coke bottles. Again, this is an original light that I basically had to make this bezel for it because it didn't have a bezel. I had this, but I didn't have the metal bezel. So this is actually a custom made bezel that I made out of a different light. I had to rebuild this fork. I only had half the fork assembly, so I had to find this whole side of the fork assembly. It's a very rare bike. It's got that cool Paisley skip tooth chain ring with the dog leg fork on it, or dog leg, this bad boy right here, dog leg crank on it. It's got the chain tensioners still in it, which are usually missing. The only thing I'm really missing for this bike is my locking fork and my tank, and that's because those two things are so freaking expensive that I'm never going to find them, nor do I feel like spending the money on them. This bike rides beautifully the way it is. It's got original, like 50s, I want to say these are 50s or 60s, Goodyear all-weathers, and their American rubber lasts forever. What can I say? You find old original American rubber tires for bikes, and they're just they're still in great shape, and they still hold air, and they still ride. But a beautiful bike. I realized I had some older videos from like 3 years ago at this point of me fixing it, and I figured I should just walk around it and kind of show it to you a little bit. And I'm really trying to remember what that kickstand's called, but I can't remember. There's a name for it. Everything was branded for bikes. Every company made bike accessories. Like every there's so many different companies from the, you know, from the 30s all the way up to the 60s that made bicycle accessories. And yeah, these fender set actually came off a girl's bike, a 40s girl's bike, a pre-war girl's bike that was my parts donor. And I actually filled the mount for the light here. So if I wanted to, I could actually do double headlights, which would be pretty funny actually, like a motorcycle. But I filled it with JB Weld so there wouldn't be holes in the front fender right there. But yeah, my paint job I think is pretty good. I mean, I tried to make it look like the original patina. This is all my paint job into this original patina up here. My paint job on this fork. Original patina on this fork right here. You can see some of the original decal work still on there. But yeah, this is definitely a survivor. She survived. She was in real bad shape when I found her. It was literally just a frame and half a fork, and I put her back together. So, but she's pretty. She rides. She's heavy. She rides pretty bad up hills, but she weighs like 65, 70 pounds. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great weekend. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Video of her riding for you. She's big, she's heavy, but she rides smooth on the flat surfaces, that's for sure. Very smooth. But yeah, she pedals nice. She's rebuilt, all new grease, all my bearings are rebuilt, my hubs are rebuilt. Everything has been straightened, re-trued. Waiting for traffic here. Old farm roads in the rural neighborhoods. Not really bike country, to be honest with you, but we make do.